Imagine walking out to your garden on a warm, sunny morning, expecting to see your tomato plants thriving, only to find a disappointing sight. The leaves, which should be a rich, vibrant green, are looking pale and sickly yellow. The stems seem weak and spindly, stretching desperately toward the sun but lacking the strength to support themselves. Even worse, those beautiful yellow blossoms you were so excited to see have started to dry up and drop off the vine before they can ever set fruit. It is a heartbreaking experience that almost every gardener faces at some point. You might find yourself running to the nearest garden center, spending a fortune on expensive chemical fertilizers, only to find that your plants still do not improve. In fact, sometimes they look even worse after a heavy application of synthetic nutrients. Most gardeners don't know this, but the secret to growing massive, sweet, and abundant tomatoes does not lie in a plastic bottle filled with synthetic chemicals. Those commercial fertilizers often contain high amounts of synthetic nitrogen, which forces the plant to grow leaves too quickly. This rapid, unnatural growth results in weak cell walls, making your plants an easy target for pests like aphids and spider mites, while completely neglecting the root system and the development of the fruit itself. Over time, these chemical salts build up in the soil, killing the beneficial microbes and creating a sterile environment where plants simply cannot survive on their own. The true key to a legendary harvest is already sitting right inside your kitchen pantry, waiting to be unlocked. When I first started growing heirloom tomatoes years ago, I fell into the same trap of relying on store-bought quick fixes. My plants were constantly plagued by blossom end rot, and the few tomatoes I did harvest were bland and watery. What happened next surprised me and completely changed the way I look at gardening. I began studying the methods of old-school homesteaders, people who grew prize-winning vegetables long before chemical fertilizers were ever invented. They understood that a plant is only as healthy as the soil it grows in, and that nature has already provided everything we need to nourish our gardens. By shifting my focus from feeding the plant directly to nurturing the soil biology, my garden transformed almost overnight. To understand why your tomatoes are struggling, we first need to look at the signs of nutrient deficiency. When a tomato plant lacks essential nutrients, it exhibits very specific symptoms. Pale yellowing leaves starting from the bottom of the plant usually indicate a nitrogen deficiency, meaning the plant cannot produce enough chlorophyll for photosynthesis. If the leaves develop a purplish tint on their undersides, your plant is begging for phosphorus, which is critical for root development and early growth. When the edges of the leaves turn brown and look burnt, it is a classic sign of potassium deficiency, which directly impacts the plant's ability to transport water and sugars. And when those precious flowers drop off the vine, it is often a sign of environmental stress combined with a lack of trace minerals and calcium. By learning to read these signs, you can address the root cause of the problem before it is too late. The journey to reviving your struggling plants begins with a remarkably simple, time-tested herbal infusion. We start with an ingredient you likely enjoy on a quiet evening: chamomile tea. While humans use chamomile to relax and unwind, plants use it as a powerful shield and a biological jumpstart. Chamomile flowers are packed with natural active compounds, including flavonoids, terpenoids, and mild essential oils. These compounds possess strong antibacterial and antifungal properties. When introduced to the soil, chamomile acts as a natural antiseptic, suppressing harmful soil-borne pathogens that cause root rot and damping off disease, while creating a highly stable, welcoming environment for beneficial soil microbes to flourish. To prepare this herbal powerhouse, you will need about 2 teaspoons of high-quality dried chamomile flowers. Here is where the real secret begins, and it is a detail that most people completely overlook. When steeping your chamomile, you should never use boiling water at 100 degrees Celsius. Water that is too hot will actually break down and destroy the delicate flavonoids and volatile essential oils, stripping the tea of its therapeutic benefits. Instead, heat your water to around 80 to 90 degrees Celsius, just hot enough to see steam rising, but not actively boiling. Pour 200 milliliters of this hot water over your chamomile flowers and let them steep for 5 to 10 minutes. This allows the water to gently extract the maximum concentration of active compounds without damaging them. Once the steeping time is up, let the infusion cool down completely to room temperature. While the chamomile tea is cooling, we can prepare the second component of this extraordinary formula, unsweetened fresh milk. Many modern gardeners are shocked to hear about pouring milk onto their plants, but experienced growers have used this trick for generations. Milk is an outstanding source of calcium, which is the absolute foundation of plant cell wall structure. Without adequate calcium, tomato plants cannot build strong stems, and they become highly susceptible to blossom end rot, that devastating condition where the bottom of your ripening tomatoes turns black and mushy. Furthermore, the proteins and natural sugars in milk serve as an immediate food source for the beneficial bacteria in your soil, kickstarting a biological frenzy that unlocks dormant nutrients and makes them easily absorbable by your plant's roots. Now let us combine these ingredients into a unified, nutrient-dense solution. You will need to prepare 200 milliliters of clean, chlorine-free water. If you are using tap water, let it sit out in an open container for 24 hours to allow the chlorine to evaporate, as chlorine can harm the beneficial microbes we are trying to introduce. In a clean mixing container, combine the 200 milliliters of clean water, 200 milliliters of unsweetened fresh milk, and 250 milliliters of your cooled chamomile tea. This is the step many people skip. You must stir the mixture gently in a single direction for about 20 to 30 seconds. This gentle stirring helps structure the liquid and ensures that the proteins from the milk and the active compounds from the chamomile are thoroughly integrated. Once stirred, let the mixture sit undisturbed for 15 to 30 minutes, allowing the ingredients to fully blend and stabilize. After the resting period is complete, give the mixture one final, gentle stir. To ensure a smooth application, pass the liquid through a fine sieve or a clean piece of cheesecloth to filter out any remaining chamomile flower particles. This prevents any organic solids from clogging your watering can and reduces the risk of mold developing on the soil surface. Now you are ready to apply this life-giving elixir to your garden. But before you pour a single drop, there is a crucial physical step you must take to maximize its effectiveness. Gently loosen the top inch of soil around the base of your tomato plant using a hand fork or a light cultivating tool. Over time, watering and foot traffic can compact the soil, creating a hard crust that prevents liquids from penetrating deeply. By lightly loosening the soil, you improve aeration, break up this crust, and create tiny pathways that allow the nutrient solution to flow directly down to the deep root zone where it is needed most. Be incredibly gentle during this process, as tomato plants have delicate feeder roots near the surface that you do not want to damage. When you apply the solution, pour it slowly in a wide circle around the base of the plant, keeping about 5 to 10 centimeters away from the main stem. This is a critical detail because pouring liquid directly onto the stem can create a constantly wet environment at the root crown, which invites destructive fungal diseases like collar rot. Furthermore, you must avoid getting any of this mixture on the leaves. While the milk and chamomile are highly beneficial for the soil, leaving wet organic matter on the foliage can encourage the growth of airborne fungal spores, leading to powdery mildew or early blight. Use this chamomile and milk solution once every 10 to 14 days. Under proper growing conditions, including plenty of bright sunlight, well-draining soil, and consistent watering, you will begin to see a dramatic shift in your plants. What happened next surprised me when I first shared this recipe with a neighbor who was ready to pull up his failing garden. Within just a couple of weeks, his stunted, pale yellow plants began to push out fresh, deep green growth. The stems thickened, the overall structure of the plants became sturdy and resilient, and the blossom drop completely stopped. This gentle yet powerful formula works wonders not only for tomatoes, but also for other heavy-feeding members of the nightshade family, such as bell peppers, spicy chilies, and eggplants. It acts as a complete systemic recovery system, rebuilding the plant's health from the roots up. Once your plants have regained their strength and established a robust root system, they will enter the next critical phase of their life cycle, flowering and fruit production. During this stage, their nutritional needs change dramatically. While nitrogen was essential for building the green foliage, an excess of nitrogen now will actually hinder fruit production, resulting in massive leafy vines with very few tomatoes. To produce heavy yields of large, sweet, and perfectly formed fruit, Your plants require a massive boost of potassium. Potassium acts as the ultimate master regulator inside a plant. It controls the opening and closing of the stomata, which regulates water vapor and oxygen exchange, allowing the plant to photosynthesize efficiently even during hot summer days. More importantly, potassium is responsible for transporting the sugars produced in the leaves directly into the developing fruit. This is what determines the size, weight, and sweetness of your harvest. To deliver a massive, highly bioavailable dose of potassium to your plants, we turn to another incredible kitchen resource: banana peels. Most gardeners don't know this, but simply burying whole banana peels next to your plants is not an effective way to feed them. Whole peels take months to decompose in the soil, and during that slow breakdown process, they can actually lock up nitrogen, temporarily starving your plants. They can also attract unwanted pests like rodents, ants, and fruit flies to your garden bed. To unlock the rich potassium, magnesium, and sulfur locked inside the peels immediately, we must create a rapid, cold-fermented liquid fertilizer. Start by chopping your banana peels as finely as possible using a sharp knife. Chopping them into tiny pieces dramatically increases the overall surface area, allowing the beneficial microorganisms in the fermentation process to break down the organic matter at an accelerated rate. Place the finely chopped peels into a clean container and pour in 1,000 milliliters of warm water, ideally heated to between 30 and 40 degrees Celsius. This specific temperature range is absolutely vital. It is the perfect thermal environment to activate the natural yeasts and beneficial microbes present on the peels, encouraging them to begin breaking down the organic fibers without killing them. Cover the container loosely with a lid or a clean cloth to allow gases to escape, and place it in a cool, well-ventilated area away from direct sunlight. Let it ferment for exactly 24 hours. During this 24-hour fermentation window, a beautiful biological transformation takes place. The microorganisms rapidly break down the cellular structure of the banana peels, releasing highly soluble potassium and essential trace minerals directly into the water. The results became visible just days later when I first applied this fermented tea to a row of struggling cherry tomatoes. After the 24 hours have passed, use a fine sieve or cheesecloth to filter out every single bit of the solid banana peel residue, leaving you with a clean, amber-colored, nutrient-dense liquid. Just like before, lightly loosen the soil around the base of your plants to ensure maximum absorption, and pour this potassium-rich tea slowly around the root zone. Apply this formula once a week during the active flowering and fruiting season to maintain a steady, easily accessible supply of potassium. By alternating these two simple, kitchen-derived formulas, you are providing your garden with a complete, balanced, and fully organic nutritional program. You will watch your plants transform from weak, struggling vines into a lush, thriving backyard paradise. The pale yellowing leaves will turn a deep, glossy green, the stems will grow thick and strong, and your vines will be absolutely loaded with heavy clusters of tomatoes that ripen beautifully and burst with incredible, old-fashioned sweetness. It is a rewarding experience that connects you deeply to the natural cycle of growth. If you found these time-tested gardening secrets valuable, please show your support by liking this video, subscribing to our channel for more in-depth organic gardening guides, and sharing this with your friends and family. Don't forget to leave a comment below sharing your own gardening experiences or letting me know which of these recipes you are excited to try first in your garden this week. Happy gardening, and may your harvest be more abundant than ever before.